Hello, I'm Art Torres. Welcome to this episode of Daggett to Daggett. Today, we're over here across from the Daggett post office off of Route 66, and we're looking at a bunch of railroad tracks in the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad, and some tamarack trees, aethel trees, whatever, salt cedars, whatever you want to call them. Well, right there in that area where the trees are at, used to be the big house for the section gang foreman for Santa Fe Railroad before it was Burlington Northern. From there all the way to that crossing was a whole bunch of section houses where the gang and their families lived, and they maintained an area of 10 or 12 miles of maintenance on the tracks. Back then they didn't have welded rail. They had a lot of problem where they had to do a lot of maintenance to make sure they didn't have no train derailments and stuff like that. Well, anyway, I was good friends with the young man. We were the same age, went to school together. His name was George Vest, I think. And one summer, I went to his house. We had our BB guns, and we were going to go shoot whatever. And it was hot. And George says, "Well, let me show you something." So we went from the back of the house to the porch and out, and then up to the tracks. Well, we went over the tracks, and there was a handrail. There was a handrail right there, a couple of them, and a little door on the ground. And I helped him. He had a ring of keys. There were switch keys and different things. And we opened up the deal. He got his dad's keys. We opened up the door, and we flipped it up, and there were stairs going downstairs. And George says, "Come on, check this out." We went down the stairs, and what I saw, was a whole bunch of ice blocks of ice that were this tall, about this wide, about that long. And they were all laid over in uniform. And we started going across there. He says, "Yeah, this is for the cars, the San Francisco fruit cars," they called them. Hang on for a minute. We're going to let Santa Fe come by here for a moment, and I can finish this story here. But this is our good old commerce, bread and butter. And I says, "What's all this ice, George?" He says, "Well, you seen the fruit freight cars that has the deals on the end where the air goes in there? Well, they throw ice in there, and the air hits it as it's going down the tracks, and they could put meat in there and keep everything cool enough to where it's not going to spoil." And they outside of where that handrail was a pole, and it had a big old crane deal there. It was a come along kind of deal, or a chain fall they called it, and it had a set of hooks on there. The more you pulled, the tighter it got. Well, summertime, they had to keep maintaining the ice on these train cars. Anyway, we go into that deal, and there was a tunnel or a walkway that would take us all the way to this side of the tracks. And I can't recall exactly where the depot was, but there was a boardwalk. At the end of the boardwalk was this handrail and this hoist deal that was there. And they would slide that ice across and pick it up for a vehicle going eastbound. And they would do it that way. But we'd go there in the summertime. After he told me that, we'd go there in the summertime, and it was nice and cool. Everybody else sweating out here. We had it made in there. And years later, when the depot burnt and Santa Fe wanted to clean this area up, they took the 7 tracks out. At that time, they went just to one siding, a small, short siding, and 2 tracks, old main, new main. And now they've upped it up a little bit to help the UP and keep, because there's 92 trains, I think, comes through here in a 24-hour period. So they got to accommodate that, so they've added a few tracks back. Not 7, but I think there are 3. Anyway, I want to tell you about this thing that was underground, went all the way across the tracks. And when you were under there, sometimes we'd see a train coming, we'd go under it, and you just feel the rumble. Then we'd go down the boardwalk towards the depot, and we'd watch they had a big old tower there, and they had this thing there that had a green light, a red light, I don't know if it was yellow or whatever other color it was, and we'd watch it go up, and that would tell us train's coming. And we'd look down, we'd see nothing, but we knew a train was coming because it'd move up to red or green or whatever. And so we'd know when we'd go across the tracks, we'd go over to the Daggett store or something like that. Well, just immediately past the depot on that same little piece of property there was a park that Santa Fe had there. And you'd see people go over there and sit down on a bench, and they'd have a picnic lunch or just lunch or whatever. There was a bunch of pomegranate trees, and us kids would go over there, and we'd get 2 or 3 pomegranates, and we'd eat on the pomegranate and all this good stuff. But we took what we was going to use. We didn't just take them all down and throw them and waste. We were a different set of kids back them days, you know. That's our episode for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let us know. If you didn't, let us know. With that being said, here's one of our stickers. If you want a couple of these stickers, we'll send them to you, or you can come by at a certain time or whatever. $5 for the stickers. And something you can put on your refrigerator or put it in somebody's car without them knowing. You know, whatever you want to do. We're good with that too. That being said, welcome to Daggett to Daggett. Thank you.